Everyone, Once Bitten here at the Battle Report. So this is a game, one of the largest games I've ever played. 6,000 points per side. I was able to field an army comprised solely of Beastmen. I was very, very proud of myself. Facing an army that's a combined Empire and Ogre force. So played on a, let's see, the table was probably 10 foot left to right and 5 foot deep. So we lined up 24 inches between us, so it gave us some extra space in our deployment zone, probably about 15 inches instead of the normal 12. We were just playing a pitched battle, 6 turns, and let's run down the list really quickly. So I'm probably going to, well, this is on the right-hand side, of course. He's got 2 saber tusks, some pistoliers, 6 man-eaters on a hill. They have swift stride and stubborn. He's got a scrap launcher, 2 units of Noblars, an iron blaster, a unit of 6 bulls. Then he's got some lead belchers, which is probably 6 of them, I think. And in there he's got 3, well, there's a Tyrant and a Bruiser BSB in there. And somewhere around here he has a level 2 Butcher. And I don't see him in this picture. He's somewhere around here. Anyway, he's got a Stonehorn thingy. Then a huge unit of Inner Circle Knights with Luther Huss, as well as his Battle Standard Bearer. On the other side of the watchtower, in the watchtower, he's got a cannon, a giant behind it, a unit of 44 halberdiers, Suster Hurricanum, 5 knights with a level 4 life. Then he's got a detachment of 5 archers, and then he has a unit of 10 archers with a level 2 shadow. Then we have the Emperor Karl Franz behind him. I have nothing in my army with which to deal with Karl Franz. Then there's a steep tank, 4 demigryph knights. They have musician is the only upgrade they have. And then he's got Captasis on the far left. Captasis, if you can see him behind the building there, he's got like a 1-up rerollable armor save and Sword of Might. So I have a Jabber Slythe on the far left, then a Gorgon, a unit of 4 Minotaurs, no upgrades except for great weapons. They are joined by a Doom Bull on the Arabian Carpet. This is Mega Minotaur. I didn't know how to how to outfit him. So I went for things that would save him from cannonballs and stuff like that. So his Charm Shield, Opal Amulet. He has Glittering Scales. I should have given him, like a great weapon or something, but totally forgot. Anyway, unit of Harpies behind him. The far side of that, there's a chariot. All my chariots are Tuskors. Then I've got 40 Gores with extra hand weapons. Then a unit of, I believe, 43 or 44 Bestigor. I've got my Great Brave Shaman, level 4 Death. I've got my General in there, Beast Lord, outfitted like that. The Bestigor themselves have the standard Discipline. Then I've got 2 chariots, a giant, 2 more chariots, a chariot behind that in the river. Behind all those chariots, I've got 40 Gore, again with extra hand weapons, and my Battle Standard Bearer is in with them. He has some protection, but not enough that I want him in a lot of combats. Then I've got to the right of that, I've got, I believe, 9 Minotaurs. No, I gave them, full command, but no extra hand weapons or anything like that. But they do have 2 characters. They've got what I'm starting to call my BA Doom Bull to distinguish him from the Mega Minotaur. And he's the build that I always took, 1-up rerollable armor save, which gives him extra attacks, the Trickster Shard, and the SF Sword. And then I have a Gore Bull with the Axis of Korgor, which gives you an extra attack, and you get to reroll hits, and heavy armor, enchanted shield. So, chariot, a unit of 3 Razor Gore, and a unit of 9 Centaur. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I forgot. So then I have a Herdstone with 3 level 2 shadows dancing around there, and I brought 4 units of Ungor Raiders. 2 of them deployed, and 2 of them went into ambush. So, wow. This is a picture of turn 1. One of the units of ambushing raiders, I rolled a 1, and so my opponent chose to put him behind my Herdstone. Or he stood on this side of the board, and so I put him by the Herdstone. So those are the kind of the Bretonnian archers down there. Other than that, I move up. I mean, what else am I going to do? I have short-range magic with my Death caster, and I've got no shooting, so I've got to get into combat. Yeah, there's these guys. And the other, I'll just tell you now, the other unit, I forgot the rest of the game. I never brought him on, and it kills me because I really could have used him. So I'm just kind of panning around so you can see what's going on. The only reason the Minotaurs are facing the right flank a little bit is because I couldn't march in the river, so they were marching and wheeling to go parallel to the river just to get them as far up as possible. I didn't want to get the Razor Gores too close to his man-eaters. In hindsight, I think that's a mistake. In hindsight, I should have put him directly in front of my Minotaurs and let him charge me if he wanted to. I've got the middle moving up like that. The Bestigors look like they're all scattered around in the lower left-hand corner. They're actually up. It's just that terrain wouldn't fit it. And here's the left. So Mega Minotaur can cause some real problems with my opponent's backfield. He's got those archers with mages back there. Just a lot of places I can cause him problems. The problem is I have to stay far enough back that his steam tank doesn't plow into me and Karl Franz doesn't charge me. Because if Karl Franz charges me, I'm toast. I mean, I'm not going to stand up to that. So we go to the magic phase. I get Irresistible Force on the signature spell Lore of Death, and I go to roll. You do 2d6 minus their strength, and their strength 3 on a cannon. So I think this is awesome. I roll a 5. I only do 2 hits. Both hits wound, so that's kind of nice. But really, it's totally wasted because the cannon is perfectly functional with only that. In exchange, I put a wound on my level 4, and I put a wound on 2 of my level 1s. So, not thrilled with that. Go to Empire turn 1. He really doesn't move much because he really shouldn't. I mean, if he moves up at all, he's gonna give me easy charges. So this is him on the right flank. This is him in the middle, and there's the left flank. His steam tank, I believe, tried to come after my Minotaur unit, and he just didn't roll well. I take that back. I think he actually misfired on him and took a couple wounds, and I think he ended up going like 1d6 forward. So I use the Chalice of Dark Rain on turn 1. That means that if he wants to shoot anything, he's at -1 to hit, and if it doesn't use ballistic skill, then he has to roll a 4-up in order to be able to shoot it. He didn't roll a single 4-up. He rolled a single 4-up, and that single 4-up hit my giant and did 2 wounds to him, and everything else he had couldn't shoot. I felt I was very lucky there. And I should point out, by the way, you're going to see a lot of blood on my Beastmen army. I bought the new Blood for the Blood God paint, the technical paint from Games Workshop. Went to town with it. There's a way you can apply it with some finesse that makes it look like you might have just hit somebody in the head, but I purposely put it on very, very heavy on my army, as if they just conked in about 20 people's heads. Okay, Beastman turn 2. He's still a little too far away for me to charge. I can't be too cavalier and if I get too close, he can multiple charge my units and I'm toast. And so we're playing a little bit of a dancing game. One thing I chose to do in the middle was to go ahead and throw my giant forward, knowing that his Iron Guts would probably charge him. And I know that if he does that, he's probably going to kill me, but there is the slightest of chances that he won't. When we get to initiative 3, I could yell and ball and stop combat, and then be able to countercharge my turn with 5 chariots. So in the middle, that was one little thing I was doing there. On the far left, the Gorgon and the Jabberslythe charges Demigryphs. The Gorgon fails, and he's right next to the Idol of Gork or Mork, which is in the lower left-hand corner, which means you can re-roll your failed charges, and I re-rolled it and I still failed it. So I was very unhappy with that. Mega Minotaur charges out of the Minotaurs into his detachment of 5 archers who fled, and then either I failed to redirect or I redirected into his other unit of archers with his level 2, and either way I failed it, and I am where you can see me. Park the Harpies up in front of the steam tank. I think that's very clever on my part. I would love to charge my great weapon yielding Minotaurs into a steam tank, but I do not want to get charged by it, so I'm very, very willing to sacrifice the Harpies. My only concern now is that Karl Franz is a fairly easy charge into Mega Minotaur, or really anything he wants, and anything he hits he's going to do a lot of damage to, and I'm not loving that. Here's the middle. I'm perfectly happy with his halberdiers charging my gore on the left. What I was afraid of was I couldn't have his knights charging the flank of my gore unit on the left, or even if they weren't on my flank, just charging them, combo charging. And had he done that, I would have fled with that gore unit. As soon as his knights declared the charge, I was going to flee. There's just no way they could stand up to that. There's the middle with my giant ploy. He's standing on top of a charnel pit, which doesn't really affect things in the game, but just so you know. And over here, again, I'm misplaying this a little bit. I needed to just put the Razor Gore right in front of my Minotaurs. I don't know why I'm playing around. So after combat, yeah, the Jabberslythe goes in with that Aura of Madness thing he has during the magic phase. He actually put a single wound on the Demigryphs, even though they're right by Karl Franz with leadership 10. So basically they take a leadership test, and by whatever they fail, they take a wound, and they actually rolled an 11. There's no BSB nearby. So that was nice. But then my Jabberslythe totally whiffed his attacks. They did a single wound to him, one by a musician. I broke, and they ran him down. And then it panicked my Harpies. So now, now the Harpies are panicking, so he can charge that unit with his archers or something, move them out of the way, and his steam tank is freed up to charge my Minotaurs. Not ideal. We moved to Empire turn 2, and things are getting messy. Look at that big jumble of models on the table. So over here, as Maneaters charge my Centaur, I flee because I didn't want to take the chance that he might make it. He has Swift Stride, and that would have been awful. Then a Saber-Tusk charges my Centaurs and pushes them where you see them now. Because I'll probably forget later, they do not rally. I roll insanely high, and they go directly off the board. It was crazy. The Maneaters then redirect into my Razor Gore, and I flee with them because I figured they were just going to hit him and kill him, and then I'd be able to charge him with my Minotaurs. But if I fled with my Razor Gore, I would still get the charge I needed, and I would save my Razor Gore. So here's the middle. His Iron Guts come tearing into my Giant. The level 2 Butcher has left that unit, so I don't know where he is, but he's somewhere up back there. Yeah, the Giant's not going to last long. Really what my hope is here is to, some way or another, get a bunch of Chariot charges into that unit and weaken them, and then I think my Gore unit with my Metal Standard Bearer can probably take care of it later. He charges his Knights into my Bestigor. I was loving this. Bestigors are Knight killers. They are designed to kill Knights. I've got 43 of them, whatever, and a Beast Lord in there. So I think this first round he's going to do a lot of wounds to me. I think I'm going to do a lot of wounds to him. Even if he wins, I'll be steadfast. I'll almost certainly make it. His Halberdiers charge my Gore unit. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that he's +1 to hit, but the mistake I made is in the magic phase, I was stopping a lot of his spells, but he got Miasma off on my Gore, and I let it through. I could have stopped it with a scroll, but I let it through. And I don't know how important that is, but basically it means he was hitting me on 2s, which is rough. So here on the left, fails all the way around for my opponent. So he charges my Harpies with the archers on the hill. My Harpies have to flee. They land where they are now, which becomes hugely important. I'll show you in just a minute. Then Karl Franz tries to charge Mega Minotaur and fails it, which is really bad for him. And then his steam tank uses 3 dice to charge at my Minotaurs, and you can see where he is. He rolled like nothing, like a 1, a 1, and a 2. Just epic bad luck for my opponent on this side of the table. So over here, the Demigryphs, which had run down the Jabberslythe, they charge my Gorgon, but because of where the Harpies are, you can barely see the Harpies, but they're basically right in front of the Gorgon, so the Demigryphs couldn't make it in. They could just clip them, which is beautiful for me because I get all my attacks, and he only has 1 guy attacking. So if he had 3 Demigryphs attacking my Gorgon, he would make short work of me, but with just 1, I like my odds. So during the shooting phase, the Stank kills a single Minotaur. I'll take it. Over here, oh my gosh. So the Scrap Launcher lands a Strength 2 template on my Raider unit that has 2 of my Wizards. It kills a single Raider. It does a wound to one of the Wizards, but that Wizard already had a wound because of my miscast turn 1, so it kills him, which forces a panic test, which they fail, and then they roll a 12 right off the board, and they panic the other Raider unit. Are you kidding me? Dang it. Dang it. The Iron Blaster shoots at my Minotaurs. He kills one, and then he rolls a 1 to wound the second one, and so that one stops. I have so many Minotaurs in this unit that I could lose many of them. This is so many points right here, and that's a lot of death coming at you. All right, so after combat, yeah, it didn't work with the Giant. I forgot about impact hits. So he killed the Giant before we got to Initiative 3, overran into a Chariot. And the Chariot, look at the far right of this picture, there's a Chariot running away. That's a real bummer. If I hadn't failed that panic test, that's one more Chariot that could have countercharged on his turn, on my turn. Over here, yeah, so we get a challenge between his champion and my Beast Lord, and I kill the champion. He kills, I don't know, 5 of my guys. I kill, I think, only a couple of his. He was making armor saves like a champ. He gets a 4-up armor save against my great weapon, Bestigor, and he just rolled them all. So, yeah, whatever. We stick around. And then if you look on the left, the Gore unit was fighting the halberds. It ended up like that. And what makes me sick about this is I forgot I gave him extra hand weapons, so I was 10 attacks less than what I could have and should have done, which means probably a good 4, maybe 5 wounds. Dumb. Over on the left, yeah, he does a single wound to my Gorgon. I do 2 wounds to him. So he has a charge and a wound. I have 2 wounds. He wins by a musician. Luckily, I hold, but I do lose my frenzy. All right, Beastman turn 3. So great weapon yielding Minotaurs charge the steam tank. The Chariot, that was a tough decision because I could have thrown him into the Halberdiers, but I decided to take him into the steam tank just to make sure I get that thing dead as soon as possible. Mega Minotaur charges his wizard with archers on the hill, and he flees, and I fail my charge. So he overran into one of my chariots. The other 3 chariots charged him. Basically, here's what I'm expecting to happen. I'm going to do a bunch of wounds to him. He's going to do a bunch of wounds to me. He's going to kill probably 2 of these chariots, and he's going to win combat, and I'll be lucky if just 1 chariot stays. I would really like 1 chariot to stay, because on his turn he can kill the remaining chariot, and on my next turn I can charge. I would really like for that to happen. And over here, so the BA Doom Bull charges out of the unit at the Man-Eaters, and they take it. My Harpies on the left charge his Noblars. He had moved the Noblars up, hoping to block my Minotaur unit. I actually still could have fit the Minotaurs past him, but I decided not to, because I like this a lot better. So Minotaurs reform to face the center of the table, and trust me, there's nothing that wants to get in their way. They have a Gore Bull who gives them all frenzy. There is a lot of pain waiting to hit something right there. So over here, yeah, this is where the Cenegors run completely off the table. The Razor Gores fail to rally. They keep running. And over here, yeah, he kills more of my guys than I would have expected. But I kill just a bunch of his. We got in a challenge, my Beast Lord against Luther Huss. And Luther Huss is scary. He has like 1 turn per game. He can, get buffed up really good, and he did that this turn. So basically, my Beast Lord was going to kill him, or my Beast Lord was probably going to die. And I got to go first, and my Beast Lord killed him. So I was very happy to see that. I'm no longer worried about that Knight unit. I think my Bestigors should do just fine against that. And on the left, again, I forgot. I didn't remember until after this combat that I forgot about my extra hand weapons. So now the Halberdiers are actually getting the better of my my Beastman, because he has, I'm down to weapon skill 2, and he's +1 to hit, and just really dumb on my part that I forgot about the extra hand weapons. And I'm also kicking myself for not throwing the chariot in there, because it would have helped. So chariots come in here, and I couldn't believe it. I actually won combat. Chariots did about as many wounds as I expected. The Tyrant totally whiffed. Didn't do a single wound to me. Well, you can see what's there. I mean, I only lost one chariot. I mean, the chariots are all on, 1, and 3 wounds, but that was great. So, yeah, can't complain about that. Yeah, oh, Doombull. Doombull hits the man-eaters, does a bunch of wounds, and then he comes back and just does wounds to my guy, and I just make all my armor saves except one. I take a single wound, get all those attacks back. I kill 4 of the 6 man-eaters, break them. They're stubborn, remember, but then no reroll nearby. I break them, and of course I can't run them down. So my Doombull is now at 2 frenzy markers, and has taken care of a fair threat. Those man-eaters were... Yeah, over here, look at the top. No more steam tank. I'm telling you, that chariot and 3 minotaurs with great weapons, I think the steam tank was down to 7 wounds by the time we got in there, and they just made short work of them. I think it was dead before I did impact hits with my chariot. Yeah, it was nice. The Gorgon did, again, a single wound to the Demigryphs, and they did no wounds to me, so I get my frenzy back on my Gorgon. So we go to Empire turn 3. Overall, most of the board looks like that. So here on the far right, his man-eaters rally. His pistoliers come up to shoot at my Doombull. They're not going to do a bit of harm to me. He's lining up his Iron Blaster to shoot at my Minotaurs. I don't care about that. His other Noblars move up to block my Minotaurs. That's going to keep my Minotaurs from helping out. I thought of helping out with my with the Iron Gut combat, but he pointed out to me that he didn't think he was able to move far enough to block me, and we measured it, and my Minotaurs actually can get around the Noblars. It would be a long charge, but they can get around them. So here in the middle, his Thunder Tusk comes crashing into a chariot. What he wants to do is kill that thing, overrun, and get into the Bestigor combat, and I think that'd be a great thing for him to do. The Giant comes charging into the Gore combat with the Halberdiers, and that's gonna... I mean, my Gores are probably dead anyway, but the Giant in there, yeah, he's gonna really put the hurt on them. Yeah, I don't love that thing coming into my Bestigors. And let's see, over here, yeah, his Celestial Hurricane decides to charge the flank of Mega Minotaur. My chariot's fleeing. He must have charged the chariot with like Karl Franz or something. So anyway, yeah, so I think that's a good move with the Hurricanum. You never expect it, and I play with Hurricanums, and I do the same thing. He has a charge, a flank, and he's going to get a bunch of Strength 5 impact hits. So he really should win that combat, and certainly will not be killed. He has 5 wounds. And Karl Franz, yeah, he charges into the front of the Minotaurs. Captus charges into the rear of them, and yeah, he's going to win that one. And I had nothing actually. All his stuff is rallying because Karl Franz is leadership 10 with an 18-inch bubble, so he can flee and rally at will. And I don't know why I'm showing this. Alright, so he shoots at my Minotaurs. I think he kills, another one? Does a few wounds to him. Again, it doesn't really affect much. Yeah, here we go. So Gorgon does 2 wounds this time to the Demigryphs. They're no longer steadfast. I win again, get an extra frenzy marker, break them. I don't run them down, but it doesn't matter because this is his turn. So on my turn, I can charge them, get them off the board, and that's very nice. If you look at the top right corner, between Karl Franz and Captus, they could only kill 2 of the Minotaurs. I was surprised. I thought he'd just kill them all. I completely whiffed all my attacks with the Minotaur, got broken from combat, and he couldn't run me down. But it doesn't matter because I'm on Snake Eyes to rally. There's another view of that. So the Hurricanum charged in, and let's see, he did no wounds to my guy, which was crazy. I don't know what he rolled for impact hits, but it must have been nothing. So he had a charge in the flank, and I did 2 wounds to him, so I didn't lose combat. I kept the frenzy on Mega Minotaur. So here in the middle, yeah, all the chariots died, and then the Thunder Tusk overran to the Bestigor unit, and he rolled like a 6 for his Thunder Stomp and really made a big difference in that fight. But my Bestigor are still there. Yeah, here it is. So between the Giant and the Halberdiers, they kill the rest of the Gore unit. The giant, when he rolled his attacks, did a jump up and down, and then he rolled a 1, so he fell down, which I thought was kind of funny. Thunder Tusk comes in, like I said, and I thought I was just going to totally just clean up these knights, but my general's in a challenge with his Battle Standard Bearer. He's got a 1-up, 4-up, so I'm strength 5, so he's on a 3-up, 4-up against me. I can't get a wound against him. I've got 5 attacks, re-rolling to hit, wounding on 3s. I can't wound him. And you think my Bestigor would just tear through his knights, but he's rolling 4 armor saves like you wouldn't believe. So anyway, what used to be a sure thing now is a very questionable thing. So we moved to Beastmen turn 4. If you look at the lower right, my Razor Gores still haven't rallied. And I'll just break it to you now. They never rally. I fled on turn 2 and on turn 3, turn 4, and then turn 5. They never rallied, ran right off the board. Overall, the board looks like this. Okay, so here on the top right, my Chariot charges his Pistoliers, he flees. My Harpies charges Pistoliers, he flees again. He's a centimeter from the edge of the table. He does not rally on his turn and runs off the table. My Doom Bull charges his Man-Eaters. He flees and rolls like nothing. So I easily catch him, and then because I couldn't pursue or overrun, I caught him during the charge phase. I was able to do a leadership test and turn, which is bad for my opponent, I think. The Minotaurs on the left charge the Noblars just to get him out of the way. Here on the far left, my Gore unit charges his Iron Gut unit. Because it was good for me. It was and I think my opponent knew it. I think a unit of 40 Gore against a depleted unit of Iron Guts wins. So he fled, and and if you look at the direction we're going, that was kind of the angle he was going to be at. And so I think if he fled high, he might have bounced that building. Either way, he would have been far away. He rolled nothing. And my Gore caught him, and then I was able to take a test and reform and face like you can see them as they are. So huge point swing right there. His Tyrant, his Bruiser, Battle Standard Bearer, and then just points for the whole Iron Gut unit, just like that. Oh, just horrible. Gorgon charges Demigryphs off the table. Single Minotaur, of course, doesn't rally. Harpies charge the archers on the hill, and they fail the charge. I said, there's something about that hill. It's like a force field against anybody trying to charge it. My Chariot this is the left flank, of course. My Chariot on the right side of this picture rallies. And now this is just making me sad. I mean, Bestigors had this. They were against knights. Bestigors rock against knights. And yeah, Thunder Tusk does another 5 Thunder Stomp, so he's just tearing up my units. My Beast Lord still cannot put a wound on his Battle Standard Bearer, and he actually does a wound to me. So now this is just ridiculous. Bestigors are failing horribly. We go to Empire turn 4. Overall, the board looks like that. Let's see. Iron Blaster is lining up to shoot at Doom Bull. I'm actually not really worried about that. I mean, he's very likely to hit me, but even then, if he wounds me, he does D6 wounds. I think I have 5 or 6 wounds, and so there's still a chance he might only do 1 or 2 wounds to me. And he's positioned such that I can see him, and it's not too bad. It's a pretty easy charge for my Doom Bull into that Iron Blaster. So anyway, his bulls at the top, they're just trying to get away from the death that is the right. I own the right flank, and his bulls know it, so they're trying to get away. His halberdiers come in, which is huge, because that means I definitely won't be steadfast. I probably wouldn't have been anyway, but I definitely won't be. Let's see. He pulled his level 4 life mage out of the unit of knights. So you see the knights by the watchtower, the top middle, and look to the left of that, in front of the hill, there's a single horse. That's his level 4 mage. And I was looking at that pretty excitedly because my Harpies can see him, and it's not a very far charge. And it's kind of thing, it's not easy to notice because there's a lot of action happening between the Harpies and that level 4, but that action isn't going to last very long. Because Karl Franz charges the rear of Mega Minotaur, and that's not going to go well for the Doom Bull. So otherwise it looks like this. So really, I've got my Gorgon here on the left, but for the most part, the left completely belongs to the Empire. The right completely belongs to the Beastmen. The middle is kind of contested because he's about to kill my Bestigor, but I've got a huge unit of Gore right there. Very, very interesting here on turn 4. So he shoots at the Doom Bull, and I think he misses him. I think he rolled like a... I think the cannonball didn't even reach him. And if it did, he rolled a 1 to wound. Whatever it was, all he did was make the Doom Bull mad. His archers... his archers shoot at the Gorgon and do 2 wounds to him. So they've done as many wounds as the Demigryph Knights were able to do. So the Gorgon is down to only 2 wounds remaining, and I think we're both thinking these archers could probably punk this guy. They just need 2 more wounds. Wow. And yeah, afterwards, Mega Minotaur, Mega Minotaur. He's nowhere to be found, but he was able to do 2 wounds to the monstrous mount that Karl Franz has. I forget his name. So it's something. And then after combat, I had like 1 Bestigor left, and then my characters, he beat them and ran them down, and it looks like that. So that's a lot of points. Very disappointing. And he still has all of his Inner Circle Knights. He has 2 of them remaining, and he of course he has all the points for him. So that was very, very disappointing. Beastman turn 5. My Gore charged his Thunder Tusk, and I kid you not, he first of all he flees with it. I was really surprised. I think he was worried about losing from static combat res, but that thing would do a lot of wounds. It's Thunder Stomp and all that. Anyway, he flees with it. He was right in front of the Halberdiers. He had to roll like a 4 or a 5 to get out to bounce through his units. He rolls less. He stops right there. That's the story of this game. He keeps on choosing to flee, and he rolls nothing. And my Gore catches Thunder Tusk and do a leadership test and reform, and got those points off the table. Now, what I don't like here is that he has Karl Franz, a giant, and that unit of Halberdiers right in front of my Gore unit. That could go either way, but with 2 Thunder Stomps, that could also be very scary. So during my magic phase, I get Occam's off on them just to make sure nothing bad happens. If you look at the top right, the Doom Bull charged the Iron Blaster. He ran okay, but I needed to roll like a 12 to catch him, and I rolled a 12. The Minotaur unit charged a Scrap Launcher. It ran, and I rolled high and caught him. It's just, I don't know what to say. There's nothing on the right-hand side of the board except for Beastmen and 2 little Saber Tusks. Just kind of crazy. There's that. Here's the middle. Here's the showdown. You can see his butcher in front of the building. I finally found him. It's like playing Where's Waldo with this guy. I go ahead and charged the chariot. This is a chariot that started off on the left flank. Charged him into the giant because why not? The giant already has a couple wounds on him. And I don't think I'll kill him, but you never know. Impact hits. I've got rerolling to hit with strength 6. You never know. The Harpies charged his level 4. He fled, and guess what? He didn't roll enough to get through his knights, which I think he still rolled like a 6 or a 7. But my Harpies were able to catch and run down his level 4. I swear I'm getting most of my points because he's fleeing from charges and I'm catching him. Giant doesn't like the chariot, so he just hits him, kills him. And we go to Empire turn 5, and I was really surprised. At this point, he didn't like his odds. And I have Occam's off on my unit of Gore, so he wants nothing to do with that, and I don't blame him. And if he stayed where he was, on my turn, I could have charged in and gone for Occam's again, and I may or may not have got him, but there'd been a big point swing based on that. So he flies Karl Franz all the way on the other side of the Gorgon. He moves his giant around. He turns his Halberdiers around. He's running away. Yeah, the giant's down. Giant only has, I think, 2 wounds left. But the problem is I just don't have any ranged attack. I have no way of getting at him except through combat. And yeah, I put the Gorgon in the woods last turn to give me a cover save, and then I plan on charging the archers. So he's shooting at him with the archers. He takes he's saving points here. He's got this huge inner circle knights and his battle standard bearer. He's just getting away from everything I have. One exception is a saber tusk. Has a wound on it because my raiders here in the background have been shooting and they got lucky. But I think I got miasma off, so it's or not miasma. I got a withering, so he's like toughness 1. That's how I got the wound on him with the raiders. He charges a chariot in the rear just to see if he can get lucky, and he doesn't. I kill him, and then I turn around because there's another saber tusk back there that I can try to charge. Beastman turn 6 looks like this. I really didn't do anything. I just moved anything I had. I just moved away from him. Because I didn't have anything that was worth the points. I think I charged his butcher, and I think he fled, and I failed the charge with my gore unit. Other than that, I was going to charge my Gorgon into his archers, and I could have, but no matter what happened, if I did that, Karl Franz was going to be able to charge my Gorgon and certainly would have gotten all those points. So it wasn't worth me trading 275 points for a 35-point archer detachment. So I just moved my Gorgon away. It looks like that. His halberdiers had fled from my gore unit charged his halberdiers. They fled. I redirected to his butcher. He fled. I failed my charge. So that's him fleeing right there. So then I move my Gorgon here because if he rallies, his halberdiers can't charge me, and his giant can't charge around the halberdiers. Although I think I would like the giant to charge me, he probably wouldn't have anyway. Beastman turn 6, my chariot's charging, the saber tusk runs away. Empire turn 6, there's nothing going on over here. All they can do is shoot at my Gorgon. He doesn't kill him. And yeah, I mean, at this point, there's nothing going on because we were too far away from each other to guarantee combats, and neither one of us could get combats that we were assured of winning. So the game ended like that. And my opponent and I look at each other and we're like, who won? So I actually sat down before doing the battle report and I added up all the points that I had left. I tried to figure out how many points he had left based on what I could see. And from what I can guess, I killed between 150 and 200 points more of his stuff than he killed of mine. And that's in a 6,000 point game. That's a draw. That is a draw. What a bloody, bloody game. We both were down to about 1/4 of our starting force. We both lost 3/4 of our army, and I think that says it was a fun game. So we had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it.